Hello everyone and welcome to Carless. In this video I will go through some of the rumors and sort of my predictions for the upcoming Polestar 3. So there have been some renders etc. of the Polestar 3 that, well, to be honest, they don't look that appealing. However, there are coming sort of details and clues to what we can expect from the Polestar 3. So I'll try to go through that in this video. So what will the design look like? Where will the battery pack be? Will it be flat? What can we expect from the infotainment system? And so on. The Polestar Precept is the latest concept car from Polestar. It is also the latest concept car if you combine Polestar and Volvo. So keep in mind that both the Polestar 3 and the upcoming XC90 will be built on the new platform SPA2. And there are a lot of similarities between the two cars, just as we've seen with the XC40, C40 and Polestar 2. So to understand what we can expect, we have to look at the previous concepts from Volvo and see what actually materialized from those. So here is the Volvo Concept 26. It is the interior concept that was released in 2018. And I'm not sure if you see the same thing, but for me this is the Polestar interior. However, it has been sort of reworked. So if we look here with the Volvo Concept 26 and Polestar 2 side by side, I think the lines on the dash is very similar. Also sort of the design of the vents. But more important, you can see in the middle it is the sort of tablet design. If you take a closer look on the display in the middle, it is the right size. Also the composition is very similar. On the Concept 26 we actually see Volvo's implementation, so it's very similar to the XC40 Recharge. However, that screen is smaller, but if we look at the Polestar 2, those look very much the same to me. Another thing is the volume knob, and unfortunately the black gloss, or the black glossy parts, which has been a terrible choice on the Polestar 2 because it only scratches and everyone wants to sort of get rid of those. So moving on again to the Polestar Precept, I expect that the screen size in the Polestar Precept is what we will see in the Polestar 3. It might be that we also see the same instrument cluster. I'm not that sure of that, but the screen size of the infotainment system should be very similar, and that's a really great thing. I mean, it looks beautiful. It seems more modern than the kind of small screen we have in the Polestar 2. So if we look what Polestar actually wrote when they released these figures, so we can see an enlarged portrait-oriented 15-inch center touchscreen complements a 12.5-inch driver display. I think we can expect that being part of the Polestar 3. That's not really a stretch. Another thing that has been mentioned is eye tracking. So what there's writing for the Polestar Precept is the first eye tracking. The HMI knows where the driver is looking at any given time and adjusts the different in-car displays accordingly. So Volvo is actually working together with a company called Smart Eye in Sweden. They do it for their upcoming self-driving concept in Gothenburg. So they do have a collaboration. And in the Polestar Precept they are mentioning the eye tracking software. So Polestar has also released this video which kind of shows off the concept. So it's all about, not distracting the driver, so only showing information when you're actually looking at it. And this is very promising. I mean, it will be a safety feature as well, so if you are looking at your phone or if they see that you're sort of distracted, this kind of systems will sort of warn you. So just to conclude, in terms of interior, the center display I expect to be there in the Polestar 3. Since the SPA 2 platform is what they will use for the coming years, it has to do something different than the current cars, and the current cars have a very, very small display. In terms of the instrument cluster, I would expect that as well. We're seeing more and more sort of from Lynk & Co. Zero Concept that they will use a screen that is not that integrated into the dash, but more like a smaller tablet sized screen. And I think that is good as well. It makes the car look more modern and up to date. The next feature that is coming to SPA 2 is sort of self-driving capabilities and the LiDAR technology. So LiDAR is a form of radar using lasers that is used for the self-driving or sort of assistance systems in the car. The Polestar Precept has a sort of very distinct LiDAR hump. Volvo has also released that they will use sort of LiDAR installed on their upcoming cars on the SPA 2 platform. And on the left we see that hump that they have released before. So since this is a feature of the SPA 2 platform, I expect it to be on the Polestar 3 as well. Another thing that is interesting is just the overall design of the Polestar Precept and the focus on aerodynamic efficiency. So Polestar wrote a focus on aerodynamic efficiency. Another quote is that Håkan Samuelsson, the CEO of Volvo, has repeated in many interviews that in the future SUV will be more aerodynamic. So I think they're trying to prepare us from a future design language. So instead of the sort of boxier Volvos like the XC40 and XC90, we will see more streamlined designs. And that is, of course, to sort of improve range, which in some sense I think is unfair because even normal ICE cars would improve with better aerodynamics and sort of reduce their consumption figures. But anyhow, it's coming now since they're going all electric. It will be more aerodynamic, and one thing I predict is that the grille will become very small or disappear, like on the Polestar Precept. There are some sort of clues to why this is happening. Here we can see a presentation that Volvo has done on their sort of green financing framework. And one picture here kind of reveals a lot. So it says what they will start doing in 2020. And if we look at these pictures, well, there is one that says modern aerodynamic optimized car designs. And what is drawn here is especially the hood or the front of the car that will be lowered. That is a specific design feature that we should expect in the Polestar 3, especially regarding how the Polestar Precept looks in the front. Another tile here is they actually have a picture of the upcoming SPA 2 platform. So it says it's designed for electrification. And what we see here is actually the battery pack. And this is very, very good news. So it will be a flat battery pack. Henrik Green, so the CTO of Volvo, has also mentioned that it will be a skateboard design, so it will be flat. We haven't seen any figures on the actual capacity, but since it looks, takes up the whole floor, they should be able to fit around like 100 kilowatt hours. But the good thing here is that they won't have the sort of the tunnel in the middle, or hopefully. The SPA 2 will also be used for sort of ICE cars or hybrid cars, so they will have to make room for a tunnel in the middle, but hopefully the electric cars won't have that hump in the interior. If it does, I really think they have a disadvantage regarding versus their competitors. Another thing from this presentation is that they show the future lineup of cars. So they show the Polestar 2. They show the XC40 Recharge, which was released in Q4 2020. They also show off a new electric vehicle that is released in 2021, and that is of course the C40 Recharge. And here we can see that the XC90 full electric will be released in 2022. So that's a year from now at least. The Polestar 3 will be based on the same platform as the XC90 full electric. So what can we say here? Well, do we think that Polestar can sort of unveil the Polestar 3 before Volvo? I mean, it is the new sort of flagship platform they're building this on. So I think Volvo has to sort of release or reveal the XC90 full electric before Polestar does. That's just my opinion. But that means that the Polestar 3 would be sort of released, well, maybe end of 2022, or at least after the XC90. I think they have quite a problem here on just the timings and not sort of competing with each other. Maybe Volvo does release the new XC90, but with the sort of combustion engine first, or the hybrid versions first, and let Polestar do the full electric first. I don't know, but this at least gives a good indication on the timeline. So another finding that I've seen online is from a Chinese crash test report regarding the P519, and that's the internal sort of code name for Polestar 3. Looking at the design, it actually looks like a mix between XC60 and C40. Especially that sort of back spoiler looks like it's coming from the C40. To be honest, I hope this isn't close to the actual design. But let's take a look in the front. We do see Thor's hammers being sort of integrated or extended into the body. We also see that, well, it looks like the actual grille is getting smaller. Below the headlights, we do see the triangle that we've seen in Polestar 2 as well. I guess this is an indication or a mix between what we'll see in Volvo and Polestar 3. I would believe that they have changed the Polestar 3 design more than this. If we're looking at details, I would say you can see an infotainment display there in the middle through the windshield. Another thing that, could be true is the integrated door handles on the side. But I mean, you can't really draw those conclusions just from these pictures. So we can compare the crash test figure here with the headlights on the Polestar Precept. I think those look in some way quite similar, and I think we can expect that sort of separated Thor's hammers, and that we won't see, one headlight but some other configuration, and that it will be more integrated in the body of the car. I think we can also draw some conclusions from this picture and the C40, where the sort of grille got smaller. Again, the SPA2 platform will be used for combustion engines as well, so they will need a grille. However, what can they do for the full electric cars to make it more aerodynamic? So another source of sort of clues and rumors is Veoneer, who is a LiDAR company that has worked with Volvo in the past. And they also work with Ericsson on their sort of connected vehicle that is used in both Volvo and Polestar. So what we can see firstly is that in Veoneer's test car, that is actually a Lincoln, they use a Volvo steering wheel that is branded with Veoneer. Where do I want to come with this? Well, in this system that they're testing, they're doing it for Volvo cars. So they have integrated the infrared cameras. The infrared cameras are used for the eye tracking systems. So I would be very, very surprised if we don't see that type of sensors in the Polestar 3. Another thing is that you can see the screen here. So the top picture is actually from a Volvo where it's horizontal. But the two other pictures with arrows here, you see a portrait-oriented big screen that looks about 15 inch. So I'm pretty confident that we will see a 15-inch portrait infotainment system in the Polestar 3. Okay, so that was more or less the rumors and features of the Polestar 3 that I expect to see. So just to summarize, we do hopefully have a fully flat floor with the new platform from Volvo. I'm very confident that we will see a 15-inch center screen. The aerodynamics will be more aerodynamic. There are too many indications of that. We'll see if there will be a grille or not. Hopefully not. The Polestar Precept has a spoiler both in the front and in the back. I mean, that would be cool, but I think that is more of a design than what we should expect in the Polestar 3. The headlights or the Thor's hammer will be separated and be more part of the design of the car. We will see eye tracking software or systems in the car used for either just safety, but some more sort of useful systems as well, like sort of enhancing what you're looking at on the center display and so on. Pretty confident that we will have the LiDAR sensors there as well. It will be interesting how they implement the actual LiDAR hump, so that hardware will take up some space. And I think the designers won't be happy about sort of designing around that sort of hardware, but we'll see. I'm also sort of predicting a 2022 release. However, I don't see Polestar 3 being revealed before Volvo revealed their first car on the new SPA2 platform. However, when Volvo releases that car, that will give a very, very good indication on what we can expect in the Polestar 3. So thank you very much for listening. This was my expectations and rumors and clues that I found about the Polestar 3. Thank you very much for listening. Bye.